Hey everyone. Before we begin, I know what you're thinking. What? S2JW is using Cuphead as game footage when Cuphead is racist? Let's dive into this. But I'm going to keep it quick because that's not the focus of today's video. So, according to this article from Kotaku, which is just top-tier gaming journalism at its finest, it's impossible to separate Cuphead from the era that inspired it. Cuphead is a beautiful-looking game with tight controls and grueling combat that culminates in game unlike many others. See that grammar? Told you it was top tier. But as a throwback to the animation of the early 20th century, it finds its muse in a troubling past it never gets around to actually confronting. The article goes on to quote a saying attributed to Sigmund Freud that says, "Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, and there is no hidden meaning or secret agenda to something." But then later talks about how the developers of the game wanted to leave all the garbage behind. All the garbage, in this case, means the deep-seated racism and reactionary politics which surrounded early American animation. Art doesn't arise out of nothing, from no one and from nowhere. People create it. The dream of being able to look to the past grammar and extricate what we find free from baggage is understandable, but as Cole shows, can have the unintended consequence of compounding the sin. Where characters of color were originally depicted with racist imagery, they now risk not getting depicted at all. So, a user named Colgrim commented, "Dumb article that only exists for a click," which in turn references a dumb essay that itself only exists for a click. Hey guys, some people use this art/historical moment/idea for racist/sexist/etc. purposes, and it is wrong to reference the art/historical moment/idea without referencing, apologizing for that fact. Well, sorry Colgrim, but context doesn't matter when it comes to racism, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia. That's why I personally don't wear any clothing made out of cotton. So, as you can see, I did only use the game footage, not because the game is fun, and that argument is ridiculous because it's totally valid, but I used it ironically, just to highlight the above point, which makes it okay. Anyways, so you might notice, as promised, that today the 2 in my logo is green to represent frogs who have been grossly affected by the presence of humans on this planet.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs friggin' frogs. It's not funny.
I suppose we can dedicate the green logo to green people also. Surely in the vastness of time and space, there is a planet with white and green people instead of white and black people. And I can only imagine the white people there subjugated and enslaved the green people at some point, because white people suck. Alright, enough silliness. Let's move on to today's main topic. And I will say, it's very rare to find a topic that really touches on just about every kind of prejudice that exists. But let me tell you, dating does just that.
What should dating apps do to combat discrimination?
Go back to Mexico.
People like you are the reason that Ebola exists, and I hope that you catch it and you die.
You're such a dirty, disgusting rat from Southeast Asia.
Grindr has launched a new campaign aimed at combating the discrimination plaguing the app. It's set to tackle sexual racism, transphobia, body shaming, femme shaming, and more.
Not that they don't have a point, but do you remember when MTV used to be about music? Okay, stop. That's enough. I'm not going to sit idly by anymore and listen to this. Are we really talking about this like someone's preference is racist or homo and transphobic? Everybody has preferences, be it financial status, height, weight, symmetry, skin quality, hair and teeth quality. There's actual science behind this. There's nothing prejudice about it. And if even one of these people complaining about racism in dating has one of those preferences, they are a hypocrite. Firstly, yes, we are talking about this, and I will back it up. Secondly, I am so sorry, everyone. That's the logical and reasonable part of my brain that I try really hard to suppress, but I guess this topic was just too much to keep him contained. Let's just call him my white privilege speaking.
I had heard from friends, like, you should get on dating apps. Like, it's like a real confidence boost. Like, you'll get like loads of attention from all these guys, and it'll be great, like post-breakup kind of thing to do. Like, it was Tumbleweed Nation. Like, these are my 2 messages, and then this is just like the nothing. But Happen is like more dramatic because like from the 30th of August 2015 until now, I thought, okay, well, this isn't happening to my friends. What's the difference between me and the majority of my friends? They're white and I'm black.
This is your evidence? I'm white, and I find her to be reasonably attractive. You don't think it has to do with the fact that she's in a campaign boot camp with a dartboard of Trump that she throws darts at, and she knits collages of quotes like patriarchy is for dicks and wants to fight capitalism with socialism because she probably writes for a blog like BuzzFeed and doesn't make any money? I mean, maybe she's just like the least fun person to hang out with because she's an SJW like you and it has nothing to do with her race. I mean, she didn't even respond to the guy who showed interest in her charity, for God's sake. Okay, I'm back. Sorry again. I had to Fight Club that part of me out of existence. It's going to be much easier for me to debate him now that I've silenced his opinion. So, I believe the point he was trying to make is that there is a lot of hypocrisy and racism on all sides here. So, let's dive into this.
We witnessed another emotional climax of The Bachelor tonight. We begin here with a story about a very different kind of search for love. Online dating has become increasingly sophisticated. You can now filter by age, gender, eye color, body weight, and race. But has a new site called Where White People Meet crossed the line? Here's ABC's Gloria Riviera.
In fact, the dating giant OkCupid says their numbers indicate that their male users were less likely to message black women, and women were more likely to pass on Asian, black, and Latino men. But there's a new site that has many questioning how exact preferences can be. WhereWhitePeopleMeet.com.
First come to the first page, it's pretty much like every other dating website out there.
Sam and Jody Russell are the masterminds behind the 2-month-old dating site, launching the business with this billboard in their hometown of Salt Lake City, Utah, a region more than 90% white.
Where White People Meet, the name alone. Did you expect a little bit of backlash?
We counted on that. That was part of our marketing plan.
You knew it would be controversial.
We did. We knew it had to be.
The billboard causing such offense, the city made them take it down.
I thought white people met everywhere.
The first question I asked was, is this for real?
I wanted a gal who shares my passion for Celine Dion.
The site may have been the butt of many late-night jokes.
I thought we already had a place where white people meet. Isn't that The Bachelor? But
it also encapsulated the controversy surrounding race and online dating.
As the creators of this site, you guys have been personally accused of being racist.
We're not racist at all.
Well, yes. Yes, you are racist. Now, I think the dissenting part of me that I shot to death earlier would say something like, okay, how is this racist, but these sites I'm going to show on screen aren't? A quick Google search reveals that there are dozens of black and Asian dating sites, and there is not a hint of racist outrage associated with them. Well, this is definitely a multifaceted issue here. For one,
And there are all kinds of personal factors that influence our dating choices. I get that someone might feel they have a lot more in common with someone of the same race. I understand it a lot more if that person is a minority who doesn't want to risk becoming someone's exotic experiment, a political statement, or being just plain misunderstood. But when you look at the big picture, the data shows that people are systematically expressing preferences that echo the negative racial stereotypes that exist in society. So isn't it worth at least asking how society might be shaping our individual preferences?
So, clearly we can see here that when Black and Asian specific dating sites are created, it's probably only to escape white people's prejudice so that they aren't an exotic experiment, a political statement, or risk being misunderstood. The most important elephant in the room we need to address here, and I'm sorry if that figure of speech was offensive to any elephants listening, is a lack of understanding of the definition or formula, if you will, for racism. You see, racism equals prejudice plus power. So take this example, for instance. This week, the New York Times took heat for hiring Sarah Young, a technology writer, to its editorial board. Some have called her racist against white people, pointing to past tweets in which she proclaimed that white men are bullshit and hashtag cancel white people. The debate over her tweets often centered around the very notion of anti-white racism, and especially whether minorities, because Young is a Korean American, can be accused of racism when ridiculing the white power structure. Former Bernie Sanders campaign aide Simone Sanders said on CNN last week that Young was not being racist because racism is only prejudice plus power, implying that only those in positions of power over others can be racist. Sanders' point is not new. She is building off the work of others, such as social scientist Patricia Padva, who used the prejudice plus power definition in the 1970s. As a stand-up comedian might explain it, racism means punching down, not punching up. Well, game, set, match. Do you get that, white men? Black people, women, gay and transgender people, and heavy people cannot be considered racist or sexist or homo or transphobic or guilty of fat shaming because they are not in a group that is in a position of power. But you can be. If you are a white male and you are actively choosing to not want to date someone for any reason whatsoever, you are a total douchebag. So, let's watch one last clip of a brave transgender woman touching on the topic of dating.
As a trans girl, I have found that dating can be difficult. So, to all of you straight guys out there, here are a few things that you should know. You don't have to be afraid to make physical contact with trans girls. We like hugs too, and we don't have cooties, okay?
Well, you may not have cooties, but as your not so subtle downward glance indicates, you do have a penis.
Oftentimes, boys will hug my friends and then they'll kind of just skip over me, and I'm like, why are you doing that? I'm a girl too, and just treat me normally. Trans girls are here. We exist. So you don't have to ignore us as friends or as girlfriends. Sometimes guys ignore me and it makes me feel like I'm different, but really I'm just like any other girl.
Again, I'm sorry. That alt-right side of me won't be showing himself again. He mostly just bothers me at night with sarcastic comments like, "Oh, you're trying to go to sleep? Is sleeping racist?" Wait, is sleeping racist? And he says that my name doesn't really stand for super social justice warrior. It actually stands for shithead social justice warrior. Anyways, on to the solution. I mean, the simplest thing would be to reprogram all dating apps so that white men are only allowed to swipe right. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of coming up with solutions. People aren't going to change. Can we just, I don't know, stop allowing white people to have kids or something? Maybe China has the right idea with its birthing laws. The only real problem with living in China, though, is that when you're going through a breakup, everyone looks like your ex. One last tidbit before I go. A Campaign for Free Speech survey found that 51% of Americans say the First Amendment should be rewritten, and 48% say that hate speech should be illegal. The percentages are even higher among millennials. 57% say the First Amendment should be rewritten to reflect the cultural norms of today, and 54% say an appropriate punishment for hate speech could be jail time. We're making progress, people. Keep up the SJW movement. We are almost there. Well, that's it for today, everyone. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Good luck in the dating world. Oh, and for God's sake, hug a damn trans person.